Chapter 1: The Hidden Motivations Behind Gender Inequality. Why does gender inequality persist even in the 21st century? It's a question that lingers in the minds of many, a stubborn puzzle that society is yet to fully solve. In this age of technological advancements and societal progress, gender inequality remains an enduring issue. It's a multifaceted problem, manifesting in various forms such as wage gaps, education disparities, and political underrepresentation. The wage gap, the difference in earnings between men and women, is a stark example of gender inequality. Despite women making up nearly half of the workforce, they consistently earn less than their male counterparts. Education disparities further compound this issue. In many parts of the world, girls are less likely to complete their education compared to boys. A discrepancy that has far-reaching implications on their future earning potential and societal status. Political underrepresentation is another facet of gender inequality. Women are often underrepresented in positions of power and decision-making. From boardrooms to parliaments, a reality that hampers the progress towards a more equitable world. But behind these visible forms of inequality lie hidden forces, the dark motives that perpetuate gender inequality. These unseen drivers are often deeply ingrained in our societal fabric. From subtle biases to systemic structures that advantage one gender over another. These dark motives can take various forms. They can be as overt as laws and policies that discriminate against women, or as subtle as societal norms and expectations that limit their opportunities. They can be found in the home, in the workplace, and in the corridors of power. Understanding these dark motives is a crucial step in addressing gender inequality. They are the unseen threads that weave the tapestry of gender disparity. The silent whispers that echo through the halls of power and privilege. To challenge and change these inequalities, we must first understand the dark motives that fuel them. By shining a light on these hidden drivers, we can begin to unravel the complex web of gender inequality, paving the way for a more equitable and just society. Chapter 2: Societal Norms and Biases. How do societal norms and biases contribute to gender inequality? This question is a deep dive into the murky waters of our collective consciousness, where preconceived ideas and unspoken rules dictate the roles we play and the lives we live. Societal norms and biases are like invisible strings, pulling us into predetermined paths based on our gender. From the moment we're born, blue for boys, pink for girls, we're cast into a world where our opportunities and choices are often limited by these invisible strings. For instance, think about the narratives we grow up with. Boys are told to be strong, to suppress their feelings, to aspire for power. Girls, on the other hand, are subtly nudged towards nurturing roles, encouraged to be docile, to prioritize others before themselves. These narratives, these biases, they seep into our workplaces, our homes, our relationships, and our self-perception, creating a world rife with gender inequality. Now, consider the story of Aisha, a woman from a traditional society where women were expected to stay at home. Aisha, however, had other plans. She wanted to be an engineer. She faced resistance, criticism, even mockery. But she fought against these societal norms. She challenged the biases that were designed to keep her within the confines of her home. And guess what? Today, Aisha is a successful engineer, breaking barriers not just for herself, but for many other women in her community. Her story is a testament to the fact that societal norms and biases are not set in stone. They can be bent, they can be broken. But it requires courage, it requires resilience, and above all, it requires us to question, to challenge, and to change. How many more Aishas are out there, waiting for their chance to break free from these invisible strings? How many more barriers can we break if we challenge these biases, if we redefine these norms? Societal norms and biases are not set in stone. They can be challenged and changed. It's time we start questioning, challenging, and changing. It's time we start battling gender inequality. Before we continue, remember to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll join our community of like-minded individuals. Together, we can achieve success and wealth as we learn, grow, and support each other. Click subscribe now, and let's dive back into today's topic. Chapter 3: Wage Gap and Economic Inequality. What role does economic inequality play in gender inequality? It's a question that brings us to the crux of our discussion, the wage gap and the lack of financial independence. Let's dive into the wage gap first. It's no secret that women, on average, earn less than men. This is not just a result of different career choices or working hours, but a systemic issue that affects all sectors. For every dollar a man earns, a woman earns only about 78 cents. This disparity is even more pronounced for women of color. The wage gap isn't just about fair pay. It's about valuing women's work equally. The wage gap has far-reaching implications. It influences a woman's ability to support herself and her family, her access to career opportunities, and her retirement savings. Over a lifetime, the wage gap can result in women losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't just a personal loss, but a societal one. When women aren't paid fairly, they have less to spend, which impacts the economy as a whole. Now, let's talk about financial independence. Many women globally still lack access to financial resources and opportunities. This means they're often dependent on their male counterparts for survival, and are less likely to leave abusive relationships or invest in their own education and businesses. The lack of financial independence perpetuates gender inequality by keeping women in a cycle of poverty and vulnerability. We've heard from an expert on the economic implications of gender inequality, who has highlighted that economic empowerment is key to achieving gender equality. When women have equal access to economic resources and opportunities, they're better able to support themselves and their families, contribute to their communities, and influence political and social change. So, to wrap up this scene, it's clear that economic inequality is a major factor in gender inequality. It's not just about money, but about power, opportunities, and independence. Economic equality is a critical step towards achieving gender equality. Let's continue to push for it. Chapter 4: Political Underrepresentation and Education Disparities. How do systemic barriers contribute to gender inequality? This question is not just a conversation starter, but a gateway to understanding the deep-rooted issues of gender inequality. Let's delve into the realm of political underrepresentation and educational disparities. Often, we find that women and people of non-binary genders are significantly underrepresented in political spaces. This lack of representation is not just a matter of numbers, but it also impacts the kind of policies that are made, the issues that are prioritized, and the voices that are heard. Consider this: if the room where decisions are made lacks diversity, how can we expect inclusive policies? This is where political underrepresentation plays a significant role in perpetuating gender inequality. When women and gender-diverse individuals don't have an equal seat at the table, Their needs and concerns are often overlooked or deprioritized. Moving on to educational disparities, it's no secret that education is the cornerstone of empowerment. However, gender-based discrepancies in access to quality education remain a pressing issue worldwide. Despite progress over the years, millions of girls are still denied their right to education. This denial not only infringes upon their basic human rights, but also restricts their potential and opportunities for growth. Our guest today, a tireless activist, has been working relentlessly to dismantle these systemic barriers. They highlight the importance of inclusive policies, equal representation, and accessible education as key to combating gender inequality. Their work serves as a powerful reminder that these barriers are not insurmountable. It's a matter of collective action, political will, and an unwavering commitment to equality. In essence, political underrepresentation and educational disparities are systemic barriers that reinforce gender inequality. But remember, these barriers are not permanent fixtures. They've been constructed by societal norms and can be deconstructed the same way. It requires a shift in perspective, a commitment to equality, and the collective effort of all members of society. Systemic barriers can be dismantled, but it requires collective action and political will. Let's not forget that as we strive towards a more equitable future. Chapter 5: Actions for Gender Equality. How can we challenge these dark motives and promote gender equality? This question lies at the heart of our journey towards a more equitable world. The answer, my friends, is found in action, in solidarity, and in the will to bring about change. One of the most powerful ways to advocate for gender equality is by supporting organizations that tirelessly work towards this goal. These organizations strive to break down the barriers of inequality by offering resources, education, and advocacy on a global scale. Their work ranges from providing educational opportunities for girls in underprivileged areas to advocating for equal pay and representation in the workplace. By supporting these organizations, we contribute to the broader movement for equality. However, supporting organizations is just one piece of this complex puzzle. Advocating for policy changes is another crucial step towards equality. Policies that promote equal pay, provide parental leave, and protect against gender-based violence can significantly level the playing field. It's important for us to use our voices to lobby for such policies, to vote for leaders who prioritize equality, and to hold them accountable. And let's not forget the power of challenging societal norms and biases. This involves questioning the stereotypes we've been taught, the biases we harbor, and the norms we follow. It's about creating a culture where gender does not dictate one's opportunities or value. This change starts with us, in our homes, workplaces, and communities. As we wrap up, let's remember the key points we've discussed, the hidden motivations behind gender inequality, the societal norms and biases, the wage gap and economic inequality, and the political underrepresentation and education disparities. These are the dark motives we must challenge, and these challenges begin with us. Gender equality isn't just a women's issue. It's a human issue, and when we all stand up for equality, we all stand to benefit. So, let's stand together, let's stand for equality, and let's stand for a future where everyone is valued equally. Thanks for watching. Embrace the shadows, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video. Until then, harness the darkness and forge your path to greatness.